The Prentice Alsop Heating and Air Coaches Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's Murfreesboro on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and streaming at WGNSSports.com.
The Coaches Show is brought to you by Parks Auction Company. Let their team of experienced and professionally trained staff utilize the auction process to sell your property. Find out more at parksauction.com. I'm Danny Brewer. It's March. What that means is baseball season in the high school level. And, man, I'm extremely excited because I've got one of the icons of Rutherford County baseball here with me, and that is head coach Barry Messer of Riverdale High School. Coach Messer, how are you?
I am good. I thought I was in the wrong place after you said that sentence, but I appreciate the introduction.
Well, Coach, let's kind of spell it out here. I'm going to prove that I'm right about this. How many years have you been at Riverdale?
I've been at Riverdale since 1999. I've been coaching baseball since 2001.
So we've got 25 years, something like that.
They run together, yes.
Yeah. So 25 years, and 25 years of success, because Riverdale baseball has been one of the staples and one of the bell cows in this county for decades. I mean, and I'm not lying about that. That's the truth, and you know it is. So there you go, icon Barry Messer.
Well, I'm humble. Thank you.
Yes, sir, Coach. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the Warrior Way, because that builds into what I just talked about. You always seem to find good pitching, solid hitting, good defense. You just have this way of cultivating that, and I've seen it. My son played for Smyrna. We always had difficulties with Riverdale. Coach Lanning, I think he's a big, important part of building the program because he usually handles the younger kids, but you always seem to have those kids coming up that do the right things. Talk about the Warrior Way and how you've cultivated that stuff.
Well, I mean, I would say that like any organization, probably like here, I think it starts with just really good people, just having good people in place. And I've been fortunate. I've been blessed to be able to hire good coaches that have been around me. I've been fortunate to have those same coaches with me for a lot of years. Coach Lanning's been with me, since 2008. Coach Kendrick has been with me in two different stints for going on 12 years now. Coach Whitlock is on his second stint with me too, going on another 10, 11 years. Coach Carrier from California is on his fifth year, and of course, I just mentioned Coach Lanning. So, I think the stability just with the coaching staff, and you mentioned a very important, part of the program is the freshman, the junior varsity development, and Coach Lanning has a passion for that. He's, probably one of the best coaches in the state at any level, just in the way he teaches the game. So, I think sometimes the JV's kind of like they get pushed to the side sometimes, but that's not the case at Riverdale. And that has a big part to do with Coach Lanning. So, I just feel like a culture has just been built over there, not necessarily by me or anybody else. I feel like culture just builds itself, and it just kind of feeds itself on a daily and yearly basis. And, I think people are attracted to it. I think people like what, when they're in the program. And, obviously you're teaching and coaching, high school kids, and even as adults, we're not perfect. So we have to, we have a saying, iron sharpens iron, and that's kind of what we try to do every day. Just try to sharpen each other and just try to make each other better.
Well, I think you do, and I think you do a good job of keeping it fun.
Yeah, we do. We can't. I don't think you can have fun, unless things are fun. So, and I know that doesn't sound right, but it's losing is not fun. Winning it is fun, but you can't win unless you're having fun, and that's just the bottom line.
Yeah, it's like kind of like that vicious cycle. You got to have fun to win, and winning is fun. You're absolutely right about that. So let's talk a little bit about pitching, because I know that's been one of the staples of your program for a long time. Tell me a little bit about the staff that you've got for this season, for the 2025 season.
Okay, yeah, we the pitching, I feel preseason, and we're 5 games in now. We played 5 games already. We got our 6th game today, so we've gotten a pretty good feel for what week 1 should look like. Obviously, we're not letting that be the barometer for the rest of the year, but it's been solid, and we did graduate quite a bit of arms from last year. Had one of our guys is at Tennessee Tech in pitching, another guy's at Motlow pitching, another guy's at UT Southern pitching. So, but we do have some guys coming back. We have a senior, Grant Smotherman, Big 6'4" lefty, is committed to, and signed with Motlow State. So, we look for him to, supply a lot of big innings. We have a returning pitcher. Grant was on our team last year, but he just didn't have a lot of innings. He kind of sustained an injury. But we have our kind of sidearm, low arm slot pitcher returning, Nick Curry. He's committed to Florence Darlington out of South Carolina, which is a top 10 JUCO program in the country. So he had really good innings. He's been good. He's, just from that angle, it's tough. You're a baseball guy. You understand not many people like hitting off sidearmors. So, then we have a sophomore, Jay Insani, who's kind of he's a power arm. He's going to be really good for us, I think. So he had a good outing opening night. Junior Lim Goodhart, he's a returning guy. He's another guy that's going to pitch in the mid to upper 80s, and be really good for us. Senior Brennan Matthews, who's put together a lot of good innings so far in the preseason and a couple times this week already. Look for big things out of him. We have sophomore Landon Bird, who is another name that's on the horizon. I would look for a lot of good stuff out of him in the future. He had a good start the other night against Tullahoma. And, he's another guy that we're leaning on heavily for some good quality innings as we go through the season. We have a senior, Gavin Green, who he's kind of like been doctoring a little hip injury for the last 4 or 5 weeks, but got him some quality, got him a couple innings on the mound this week and in some closing situations, and very crisp. And, it was what our team wanted to see. Junior Bobby Barnes, kind of a three-quarter guy again. He threw yesterday for a couple innings for us, so we'll lean on him. And then sophomore Noah George will pitch a little bit. He's our shortstop. Then center fielder James Jones, maybe a little bit. And then another senior, Paul Pittman, big 6'5" guy who has a couple offers from some NAIA schools.
Coach, what all that tells me is you got some arms, so that's good. I mean, depth in pitching, you can never have too much depth, right?
Yeah, I don't think you can ever have too much pitching. I feel like we've gone through 5 games and used all of them. So we're going in today and having to just recycle a few guys for today. So, like you just said, you can never have too many. It doesn't matter if you have 3 or 4 or 5, 8 game schedule. They're just not enough.
One of the things that goes along with hand-to-hand with pitching is defense. So tell me a little bit about your defense and what you got there, and who's your leaders there on defense.
We'll start behind the plate. We graduated our main catcher last year, Jax Nichols. He's at Motlow, but Gunnar Waldrop, he's a UA8 University of Alabama Huntsville signee. He was player of the year last year in our district. Really offensive guy, really good leader on our team. He'll be the guy that gets the majority of the innings behind the plate. Also very dynamic in center field too. So got a lot of flexibility with him, but he hits in the 3-hole for us. But again, he's a UAH signee. Another catcher, James Jones. Again, they're kind of interchange. Him and Walter both catch and play center field, so we can just swap them out. Another good athlete, kind of very quick, fast twitchy. So, and then another junior, Christian Qualls. So he'll kind of help fill in there with some DH roles as well. So there's the behind the plate. We go to the infield. Kind of it's crazy that I'm 53 years old and I've got an 18-year-old son, but my son's a senior, and it's crazy that's coming to. It's kind of winding down to his last year. But Bryce Messer, he's a 3-year starter, returning the infield, started second base for us. He's hitting leadoff right now. He's a Trevecca signee. Got a sophomore shortstop, Noah George, kind of a newcomer for us. He was here last year, but sophomores are newcomers; they're rookies. But he's super dynamic in the infield. He's just made some good plays that you're like. Last night there was one made, and I'm yelling no, don't throw it, and he throws the guy out. That's how. I felt like an idiot, but my baseball knowledge says that was not going to add up, and it ended up adding up. He just turned it into something great. We have a third baseman returning from last year. He started sophomore, Davis Wilson, another left-handed stick, kind of hitting the middle of the order for us. So he also pitched a little bit. Need him to be big for us in the infield. We don't have a lot of infielders. We only have three middle infielders, third baseman. Have another guy that plays in the right field for us, Jesus Gonzalez. He's our starting right fielder, but he can play the middle infield. Senior, first-year starter. He's had a really good preseason and first 5 games for us offensively. Jackson Ridgway, senior, just a super, like you talking about glue, culture, salt of the earth type guy. So he's the one everybody loves, and he's a first baseman for us. He locks it down over there. And then Lim Goodhart also plays first. We talk about him. He's a really good dynamic junior who's going to have a lot of opportunities for him in a couple of years. and then Paul Pittman will play a little bit at first as well.
Coach, let's talk a little bit about the week that was going. The outfield. Yeah, go over the outfield. Yeah.
So and then we go to the outfield. So right now, the outfielders are Jay Insani. He's playing. We got him locked down in left a little bit. And James Jones is in center. We talk about him. Jesus Gonzalez is in right. Then we have some other guys that are have played some important roles for us. Go out there and play defensive, and we'll get their shot offensively too. Carter Terrio, who's a kid that I've grown up coaching since he was 10 years old. A guy that we trust, have a high trust level with. We talk about Waldrop out there already. Knox Dotson is a junior, left-handed hitter. We've got some pop in his bat. So look for him to maybe, do some quality innings. A.J. Ganser, he's a 25. He's a senior. He's a UT Southern signee as well. Thatcher McGill, big physical player with some pop in his bat. More and more of a DH role for him than an outfield, but he does play outfield. So he had a big pinch hit last night, almost run one out for us. Elliott Getz, another junior, kind of a courtesy runner, plays outfield for us a little bit. And then Noah Utley, sophomore, he pitched for us last night. I forgot to mention him in the pitchers, but he's a pitcher sophomore, threw 6 innings for us last night to get the win in his first start. And then another junior, Blake Pollard, is another guy plugging the outfield.
Coach, you got lots of players, it sounds like. Tell me a little bit about going in. I know you have an idea about what you think is going to happen. Talk about the first week briefly and what happened, and are you happy with where you're at?
Well, I think we're happy with where we're at. I think, with the season, the preseason being shortened to 3 weeks, with it extending the season a week, and then the weather that's been thrown at us this year for – it's been very unique. The first week has been kind of a success for us, I believe. It's not where we want to be, but nobody is where they want to be in March. But we opened up with your alma mater, Smyrna, on Monday, and then we played. The week's already crazy. We played Smyrna this week. We played Tullahoma. We played Hendersonville. We played Beach. We're 4-1, I think. So it's been good. Today we have Clarksville, which is, the number 3 team in the state, rolling in here. We play them at 3 o'clock, and then next week we go down to the very prestigious tournament, South Walton. It's called South Walton Showdown. There's 5 of the top 50 teams in the country in it. We play, Lewisburg, Mississippi, first game. They're nationally ranked and, got the number 2 player in Mississippi. And we play Mosley High School, which is in McClay, and Winter Park down there. They're all, top Florida teams. So IMG's in it. It's a really prestigious tournament. So we're looking forward to that. And, of course, we come back. We have another tournament, the Wilson County. And then we host our big tournament, the Warrior Spring Classic, which, has gotten to where it's a regular, like 80 to 90 teams in it with, the best teams from Indiana, Illinois, Ohio, Tennessee, Alabama rolling in here. So we even got a team from South Hills, California this year, Gulliver Prep, who has the George Lombard kid on, who's a number 126, Oxford, who has a number 127 in the state. So it's a very premier tournament. So, I don't want to speed the season up, but there are a lot of good things on the horizon.
Coach, I 100% agree with you. The Warrior Classic is always one of my favorites because, like you said, so many teams come in. It's fantastic. If you want to see some really good baseball, you go over to Riverdale High School because I guarantee I've seen it in the past, and I know I'll see it in the future. Coach Barry Messer, we appreciate your time. Wish you the best of luck.
Thank you for having us on.
Yes, sir. The Coaches Show is brought to you by J. Mullins Jewelry, a family-owned and operated business treating clients like family since 1938. Jewelry design, repair, and a wide selection of great jewelry pieces online at mullinsjewelry.com.
Is your car running like a dream, or does it need a little TLC? At Dr. Automotive in